Hi guys, welcome back to another new moon forecast and projections. The new moon on June 10th will be under the influence of Gemini. So this is going to be a solar eclipse. So it's going to be when the moon will pass between the earth and the sun, thereby partially obstructing the image of the sun for the view of the earth. I'm going to see if where we'll be able to see this because obviously, different sides of the earth and the timing and everything, because the new moon's taking place at 10:52 a.m. So it's going to happen very early. I'm on NASA's website. The Americas could see it. It definitely on the Western Hemisphere is more of a view because of the timing. So this would be like Atlantic time. So it's definitely visible. It'll start around 8:30 in the morning and will last until roughly 1:20, I believe. I'm just watching it lapse here. Yeah, 1:15, 1:20. So you in America will be able to see like North America, South America, New Mexico, England may have a view of it. I know they're going to be ahead of time. Obviously, I'm going by the time that's lapsing here. If I'm reading this map correctly, from what I feel like it looks like America. So I'm just going to show you this time lapse here. So I'm assuming this is America here, North and South America on this side. So you can see the projection of the solar eclipse here. So it's a good amount of time. I love the energy of it because it's Gemini and we get that duality with Gemini. Moon in Gemini manifests itself by the need of change and spontaneity. Safety lies in thinking about your feelings and sharing them with others. I feel like this is a crush, and you feel that spontaneity to share it with that person. You may be more talkative, speaking with ease these days. You may have a better ability to keep a cool head, but beware. Cold heart can discourage others. Harmony of thinking and feeling is important. So especially because we think about like the moon passing over the sun, so it's blocking the light. You know what I mean? So obviously watch your emotions around this time because we have like a lot of shadow energy in the air. So be mindful of your shoulders, your arms, your hands, respiratory system. And I know it's unusually like hotter this year, and I'm not complaining because it's like the winters seem to feel long sometimes in the Maritimes because it's like every third day we get like 45 centimeters of snow, and it's just like, oh my gosh. So the fact that we're getting this warm temperatures, is great, but it's just like kind of fearful because last summer we were like 45 for a lot of the time, and it just was not an enjoyable summer. So they're saying watch your bronchial tube. So this is definitely respiratory, lungs, nervous conditions for seniors, and monitor skills. Blood capsule. I don't know what that is. Exchange system. Capillaries? Blood capillaries? But they're saying exchange system. But I feel like because it's going to be warmer around this time. I know my nephew's birthday's coming up, and I'm fast forwarding to or rewinding to last year. It was quite hot on his birthday, and it was just the 18th of June. It was very hot. I had fabric glue on my shorts, and it melted the fabric glue. I couldn't believe it. It like completely undid it. I was like, what in the heck? Like, I couldn't believe how hot it was. So it's just like, be very mindful of that. It may be a very hot day that day. And they're saying no surgical operations are recommended during this new moon. And I always say this, like, if you absolutely have to have an operation, please go ahead and get it done. Like at the end of the day, your life is more important than anything. Use your intuitive abilities. I feel like they're saying like, when we're talking about, like procedures like, cosmetic procedures and such, where it's like, it's not a necessary surgery. So we're under the influence of Gemini, so, they're intellectually curious. My son is a Gemini, and he is very curious. Constantly juggling a variety of passions, hobbies, careers, and friend groups. They are the social butterflies of the zodiac. But you also know that they're air signs, so I feel like they're in their head a lot, because I know my son gets in his head a lot, just like his mother. These quick-witted twins can talk to one another about anything. Find them buzzing between happy hour, dinner parties, and dance floors. Because we are in the shadow side of it, because of the solar eclipse here. So they love to gossip, just like Libras. Want to be the center of attention? Yes. Always have difficulties have different exciting stories to share with their friends, which helps them be in the spotlight easily. Often disliked by others, mostly because of their two-faced characteristics. I don't feel like my son's two-faced. I just feel like he loves to tell stories. The two of them do. Everyone says my kids look like twins, and I'm like, funny enough, like one's Gemini, one's Cancer, but it's like they both mirror. Like, I feel like Michael, because of his sensitivity, like that's my youngest, he's more of a cancer traits, where Jenner is more like that Gemini. But it's just like, you definitely get both signs in both children. It's pretty crazy. So Spirit is saying take time for you. So like you may be finding yourself like, busy. I know I found myself like, the week of my son's birthday and before that really busy. They're showing me toes. So I'm just gonna emphasizing on big toe. And I know with I'm just from a couple of people that I've come across in my life with the big toe, like when they have that pain, I know it's gout, but I want to see what this means. They're saying with a big toe, it has something to do with the path that you were on, and your subconscious wishes you to take it. If you are also they're also telling you about your current state, your opinions on things, your personality, your feelings about events, or even give foresight or warning of upcoming situations. Let's see what else, if we can find out anything else. They're saying it represents spirituality, a big picture overview of one's life. So, you know what I mean? Like, who knew? Like, that's why I always check out when they should send me these images. It's like, you never know, and I get it. Like, what path are we on? We are in the middle, of the year. So it's just like, how do we move forward? Things are constantly changing in the world. So it's just like, how do we move forward? So, messages from our ancient Chinese oracle regarding this new moon. We got Kun Shen, which is earth heaven. So, I would say like heaven on earth, which is the number 12. So, very much what, like, Spirit is saying in the messages here, about standing still. Patience, reflecting, being accountable. Monday's tarot cards do talk about, the last card that we had was justice, and the two cats' tails were intertwined. And I felt like, yin and yang, and I felt very much like, that balance was being restored back into life. Justice, the scales. But, when we get into the definition, they're saying we have to choose the right and the wrong. And they're saying, are we going to choose the black cat or are we going to choose the white cat? And they're saying we got to, not only think about ourselves in that moment, but how this will play out in the future. So going into, the messages, talking about, a temptation. So maybe stepping out on your partner, or, going into a relationship only because it's money, or it gives you that safety and security you've been looking for, and there's like no tangible relationship there. You know what I mean? And that person can potentially take that out on the children, out on you. But like this is where they're saying you got to use a broader perspective. In periods of standing still or stagnation, confusion or disorder can prevail. Small-minded and self-serving focuses arise when the powers of clarity and creativity are on the decline. The inmates The inmates are overrunning the prison. The inmates are overrunning the prison and its guards. In such times, summon upon your fortitude. Don't shine your light. Simply withdraw. The wise shall take shelter in their own integrity and quietly remain faithful to the principles. Retreat from the public activities and common exchanges until the time favors direct action. Concentrate concentrate on personal affairs with a humble dignity, even if this means letting go of some short-term rewards. Desiring to change such a situation too quickly creates extra conflict. And that's where I feel like, especially when we're highlighting the Ten of Pentacles, when you get into the cards, especially the channel cards, the channel cards and the cards really mimic each other. But, going to the Chinese Oracle now, talking about, jumping into things. And definitely when we get into the spreads, it's like talking about that. Like someone is, jumping into something because they're like, ooh, they have money. And that's the only reason they want to get into this relationship. They're not attracted to them. They're, you know what I mean? But it's like, that's going to have consequences. By accepting some hardship while striving to maintain integrity, you are preparing for future growth. Remember that a seed of prosperity is often hidden inside the husk of misfortune. So it's, we keep planting seeds. We're starting to see them bloom. It's not ready to harvest just yet, but we're beginning to see the work of our efforts. Where we were talking, last week and the week before about how work is getting tedious. So maybe you are in need of a break, or maybe you're on the precipice, as the cards go forward, talking about how you get this, with the Ten of Pentacles, you get this significant milestone or reward or financial relief. And they're like, you can have some leisure time, but don't leisure for too long. Let's set up a next goal. Don't rest on your laurels. But they're saying, in this case, rest on your laurels, but not for too long. So giving yourself permission. Spirit is giving you permission to kind of take a step back. Sit back. They're showing like sitting outside. Enjoying like the scene, like enjoying the scenery. Enjoying the weather. Like when they talk about when we get into the cards, playing music and stuff. So I definitely feel like they're saying, again, be careful on what you do. Because that action will have a reaction, and that reaction is going to affect other people. So you want that to affect people in the positive. So if you're that person that is just going into this relationship just because there's a dollar value on it, and it will, it looks like, he, quickly move you in and give you everything you want, but it's like, you don't even know them. You don't know what's behind all this. And what the repercussions could be on if you're a single parent and maybe this, a partner comes into your life giving you everything you ever wanted, but it's like, okay, but you don't even know them. And if you have children, bringing them to that situation, it's like, it'll affect the children. You don't even know them, so you don't even know how they're going to act with your children because you jumped into this because you're just like, I don't have to work so hard anymore. So this is where they're saying, even if you're having hardships, keep working. They're like, keep doing the tedious work. You will see prosperity. Not as quickly as this one would happen. It kind of falls into your lap, but it's just like, you got to do things for the right reasons. It's a lot harder life to do things on, the harder tasks than to do, things that just fall in your lap that feels, easy to just do. And then, you pay for it years later. It always comes around full circle. So I'm going to get into our channeled cards here. Actually, I didn't realize that manifestation and change your relationship were right on top of each other. So maybe you're manifesting a relationship in your life. Maybe you're manifesting an engagement, manifesting a marriage, or moving in with one another. Like that leveling up, because they were like this. So, you know what I mean? And like I said, like Gemini, they're showing me like, twin flames. So like the Two of Cups. Very reminiscent of Gemini, and it's, talks about that energy. So because they were on top of each other, it's like, is this something you're manifesting in your life? Being the new moon, I always encourage people that watch my videos and follow me, like, great time, for reflection right now, but also it's, a great time to sit there and release anything that has happened in this cycle. If there is anything, you know, if there's not, I'll salute to you. Like, what a great season to be in, and definitely sitting there and asking, what do you need right now? Or, like they said, like their manifestations, are you manifesting this relationship into your life? Gemini being the third zodiac sign in the calendar. So three to me is, when you look up the number three meaning, it's, the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. They are talking about spirituality a lot here. Also mind, body, soul, spirit, so definitely, like, I feel like meditation is very important right now. See what stone, like crystals, really, really hit home with you, what you're feeling, and see what crystals can help you alleviate, like, if it's insecurities, to get rid of that, energy in your life. Or what do you want to, maybe there's a certain crystal that you want to work with, and, they're talking about this time of doing so. We do use, like, the number three to write heart emojis too, you know what I mean? So very much, we're talking about love. So this card indicates the need to acknowledge the power of your mind and your ability to manifest your desires. You're being urged to familiarize yourself with the law of attraction and clarify your wants and needs, for you have entered a powerful cycle of divine manifestation. So as we're heading into this, full moon, and we definitely see the full moon being highlighted here. We have the Chariot, so it's like taking charge as we move forward to the full moon. So definitely asking for things that we want. Provide your dreams, serve the greater good, as well as the intentions of your soul, and the universe will assist you in making them come true. So I definitely feel like, when we, are gifted with the ability to help people, you don't have to be quote unquote a healer. It could be as that you are a healer of, you listen to people. You're a sounding board. You allow people to talk, because sometimes that's the greatest gift, to allow someone to speak their truth and hear what they have to say, and help them through whatever they're going through. It's kind of it's therapy, but in a non-professional sense, not in I definitely feel like if you need that help, you definitely should get it, but a safe space. I'm just seeing if there's anything else that corresponds with three, but obviously talking about, like, spirituality. So with the relationship change, the number 6 really stands out to me with the number 56. So domestic happiness, harmony, and stability, which is unique for one family to another. Associated with responsibilities, especially those involved in family obligations, children, and the home. And it is a relationship change. So maybe, like, you're adding to your family. This isn't, you have you're adding an addition to the family, and everything's going to change. Obviously, like, it is the biggest blessing where it's like you move from, like, it's all about you two or just about yourself, and you're selfless, giving to this child that depends on you for the rest of your life. It doesn't stop when they turn 18, 19, even if they move away or whatever, they're always going to want their parents. This card indicates a time when relationships in your life are going through a period of change. This adjustment is inevitable and necessary for the natural progression of the relationship. So they're highlighting, during this time, a lot of kids, they have their growth spurts, or it's just like they're changing, like, they're hitting puberty, or they're becoming, teenagers, where they want more of their space and socialize with their friends and stuff like that. And it's just like, giving them that freedom to do so, listening to them speak their truth. We've raised them to be intelligent, insightful young people, and now they're coming into their own, and they're speaking their truths and honoring, what they're saying, listening to what they said, and basically showing that their opinion has value, not just shutting them down and be like, no, you just do what I like. You're listening to them. And the wisdom and experience gained will be of great benefit to all involved. So, you know what I mean? Like, obviously not allowing them to be disrespectful, but in a a way of like, we're going to do this. We were talking about this with Monday's daily forecast, where they were saying with the justice card from the wild unknown, and there was that duality because there's two cats, and they're saying we have to make a decision here, and the cats' tails were intertwined, and I said, ooh, I feel like the yin and yang balance is coming in. But the card's definition is like making a choice, which one is good, which one is wrong. They were talking about, it looked like a mom that works from home right now, maybe it's just for now, I'm not sure, and she wants to buy her dream home, but she knows it will be like 6 blocks, but it'll take the kids will have to walk further, and her kids are like 9ish in age. They're mature enough to do so. There's 2 of them, like a siblings, a boy and a girl. But the thing is, it's like, she's able, from where she lives now, she's able to watch them come and go from the school. I can see like a clear shot of the school, like a 2-minute walk, if that. And it's like this one is like she's not able to watch them. So I'm like, well, maybe, take your lunch break at that time so you're able to like, go get them, maybe pick them up from school, or like, walk. That can be your exercise for the day. Walk and get them and walk home back with them, until they get older, or put off the move altogether and wait till they're older and they can walk on their own. She won't have that, that uncertainty and insecurity of them being okay. So it's like, that's coming up. So they talk about like, a child leaving home, a relationship has ended. So definitely like, talking about some sort of change, and, we get that a lot with life, and sometimes it's like we embrace change. Like when a child goes off to school, it's bittersweet. You're sad to see them grow up because now they're becoming their, like we were talking about, their own individual person. But it's like, you know that they're growing, but you also miss, being able to wake up and there they are. So we have the Chariot as our next card. We have the Yin and Yang, where I felt with the Justice card for Monday's daily tarot cards. And this is like gaining control in a situation, being in control of our lives. I feel like maybe if you have been having a rough go of Mercury retrograde, it's like, you're regaining your power back. They usually highlight the waning crescent and the crescent moon with this, but I'm not seeing any symbolisms in this deck. This is the Dragon Tarot cards. I am going to look it up though, but because I definitely did say, moving forward from the new moon on, that people would be gaining back their power. So June 11th, I think it's to like July 12th. Well, not that far. July 9th, maybe. I'm just checking up. So June 12th, or sorry, whatever. To the 7th, July 7th. July 7th. So June 12th to July 7th is maybe where you get into this regaining your power. Yeah, June 11th till July 7th. So, regaining this control back in your life. So maybe like, they are highlighting, the full moon as well. But I feel like they're saying, if things have been out of kilter, kind of, peace and harmony is coming back to you and you're gaining control, and, you know what I mean? Like, I get with the balance of things with the black and the white, the yin and the yang of things. So we have adventure, danger, excitement, triumph, determination. Triumph through a careful balancing of opposites, and courage in the face of danger are shown by this card. Turmoil, upheaval, and excitement on a journey that can be metamorphically or real. But either way, leave your feelings that you have arrived in a different place. Hard work at this stage is recognized and rewarded for change. But be careful not to relax too soon. I get the excitement and triumph and determination. I feel like going off to college. I don't get any negative energy with this, but, obviously, maybe someone is going through something and it's like, maybe they feel like, they're in danger. Or there's something like, with myself, there's a disruption in the environment. So, that insecurity comes up. So maybe this is where they're just like, bringing back balance to that situation. I definitely feel with the yin and the yang here. I definitely feel like things going back into balance. So they're highlighting the full moon here. The full moon will be on the 24th in Sagittarius. So it's like bringing fire into the sky, but I definitely feel like, with the two dragon heads like tilted out, I feel like this is like our clair voyance. I feel like this is very well, it is supposed to be Pisces, so intuitive. Intuitive Pisces in our in our higher self philosophy. I feel like there's like a deep level of maybe you're taking on a new skill, because I get a lot of in our head, a lot of energy in our head, but I get like a leveling up in like skills, or a leveling up in maybe your abilities. But they usually we do have the two towers present here and here. So bringing back again balance. So back to back, bringing back the balance into the situation. They're saying like adjacent, askew. So maybe you're not seeing eye to eye on things. The fact that they're both turned away from each other. But it's like, I feel very throat chakra with this. So maybe it's speaking your voice. They're like breaking the boundaries, barriers, breaking the boundaries, So like allowing yourself to be uncomfortable, insecure in a sense, where it's like, but it's liberating. So maybe like you're bearing your soul to someone, your counterpart. Again, with the duality, with the two dragons there, the way that they are. Very Gemini. The two dragons, very Gemini. So we're getting a lot of duality in this. Imitations, mystery, dilemma, danger. Again with the danger, illusion. So be cautious. A choice needs to be made that could determine your happiness for a long time ahead. You need to be guided by intuition and feelings when making this choice. But at the same time, there is a real danger of delusion, of being misled by wishful thinking. So, maybe we kind of are trying to see this person, like, we're talking about this relationship change. Maybe this is someone brand new coming into your life, and maybe we're not seeing them for who they are. You know what I mean? So being cautious, not sitting there and jumping right in, even though, like, isolation tends to do that, because it's like, we've been, in solitude for so long and kind of jumping into things, without even thinking. Funny enough, that's exactly what, the Monday's cards were talking about, that this decision will affect everybody else in the future. Like, you need to think not just for now, but going forward. Like, it doesn't just affect you, it affects everyone else. So, funny enough with Monday's daily forecast, and here we go again, about, making good choices. But at the same time, there's a real danger of delusion, maybe misled of wishful thinking, or by someone whose judgment you trust. Times like this are true tests of character and grasp on reality. So maybe this is where, like, a friendship change, because you trusted someone's opinion and maybe they misguide you in a wrong way, or you trust them with something and they betray you. But they're talking about this danger. So be cautious of who you're trusting right now. So we get the Queen of Cups, so maybe they're taking advantage of your good nature. Your cup runneth over with how much you love people. Funny enough, do you see this pathway right here? So I'm wondering if they're opening a new doorway for us. We were talking about, manifestation and like a change, and I said some sort of skill. Like, I felt like there was that intellect. So I'm wondering if they're opening a new door for us. They're saying the floodgates are opening, but I feel like, someone, when we're talking about this danger, I feel like maybe this is a lesson that is, that someone has done this before. I feel like this is repeated. I feel like maybe someone is trying to, sit there and take advantage of your good nature and, trying to bully to get their way. You try to stand up for yourself. You remember they're talking about boundaries. So when they're talking about boundaries coming down, so it's like, watch who you're being vulnerable with. Watch your words. Like, even though it feels comfortable, just watch what you're saying. The Queen of Cups is warm, loving, sensitive, and maternal. And and eager to heal all the world's wounds. She is also practical, honest, and imaginative. Her imagination can be expressed through art, but more commonly through helping others relate to each other. Warm and playful, she is the ideal lover or parent because of her generosity and talent for putting people at ease. So I feel like maybe this is where they're saying, be careful, you know. Maybe this is where they're saying, you're trying to bring balance back into a relationship, because we have a relationship change. But this is maybe someone's trying to be manipulative and take advantage of your good nature. And, they do it in such a way that's cunning and it benefits them, but they don't care how it hurts you. And you try to stand up for yourself because we're talking about, barriers, like removing the walls. But I feel like because you feel comfortable, but it's like, I feel like that's when they try to strike you and take advantage. So we have the Knight of Cups. So I'm wondering if a Knight of Cups is going to come and appear in our life. Because we keep getting this duality. I don't feel like the Knight of Cups is taking advantage of you. I really don't. I feel like maybe this is your partner in life that kind of steers you the right way and makes this known to you. Maybe this is like, your person. I feel like this is someone, like, he's standing on solid ground. And rather than in the water, he's on solid ground, so he grounds you. It doesn't necessarily have to be a male. Like, I just feel like this is your person in life, that yin and the yang, the balance, the duality, right? So this could be the person that's like, listen, they've done this before, and bring up the situation. They could be just doing this to make you feel vulnerable, or because you like to fix everything. And they're just going to sit there and use this to their advantage and take from you. And you're going to end up sad again. The king is generous, honest, level-headed, kind, and cultured. He takes his responsibilities seriously and is a champion and champions peace and the arts of civilization. He could be a formidable opponent in war, but only as the last resort. He is a great patron of the arts and sciences, and when in a favorable position in a spread, he presents spread his presence should be taken as encouragement to make plans on a grand scale. So maybe that someone is trying to diminish your accomplishments or diminish you. Maybe out of their insecurities, they sit there and they run you down. This is the type of person you can't share your triumphs with because they always poo-poo all over them. So maybe this is your person saying, you work so hard for this. You deserve every moment of this. So this is where I'm saying, this could be you as a very giving person, and they balance you out. Very yin and yang. That twin, it doesn't necessarily have to be in a relationship. This could be your best friend. This could be your siblings. This could be your parent that you really are bonded with. But it's like they level things out. So we're going to our cards now. So, they're highlighting the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is like the ultimate, one of the ultimate happiness cards in the minor arcana. Nine of Cups, Ten of Pentacles, Ten of Cups, I believe, as well. The rainbow, I believe, is the Ten of Cups. I always get the Ten of Pentacles and Ten of Cups mixed up with that when I see the rainbow in the happy family. But I definitely feel like, this is like something, something coming full circle is what they're saying. And I feel like maybe where this positivity comes in, when they're talking about things on a grander scheme, you put, they were talking about tedious work and then, it will eventually pay off. Maybe this is the payoff. This card signifies success, completion, and an invitation to rest on your laurels. So to rest on your laurels, not to rest on them. Although not for too long, you have worked hard to gain your present position, and you are entitled to enjoy the benefits, and not least the space to enjoy family life. However, nothing lasts forever, so you should also start making fresh plans for the future. I feel like this is like you've reached another level, and it's like you're happy for it, and I feel like you don't have to work so hard, at certain things. Like I said, it's tedious, so I feel like this has come full circle, where it's just like, you're like, so on social media, you're gaining your platform, and then it's like you've reached where you wanted to reach, but it's like there's always a next goal to work on. So I feel like they're saying like you could take a breath, you know what I mean? And like maybe you don't have to push yourself so hard to work so much because you have a little, wiggle room here. So maybe, going away for the weekend or something like that. But I feel like they said, like, what's the next exciting thing we can do? So we were talking about change and like, change in relationship. We have the Hierophant. The Hierophant is seen as the pulpit. It used to be called the pulpit. And, they're showing me that oh gosh, what is that card from? I'm trying to think what deck it's from. But, he stands before two people, and it's represented in the card. And it's like, a marriage. You know what I mean? So maybe this is the change in the relationship. You get engaged, and you do have this church. It looks like a church behind the dragon here. So, this could be, a marriage of some sort. Like a marriage, but like a commitment ceremony. Like, you know what I mean? Like it depends who you are and what your belief systems are. But I do definitely feel like, maybe it's just like, you know what I mean? Moving in together. But it's like a grand commitment, I feel. And I feel like it changes the scheme of the everyday life. And I feel like this is where they're saying, like, you got to remember, it's not, this situation isn't just going to affect you, it's going to affect everybody else. So tradition, community, charity, conservatism. And I feel like this is where, when I feel like being conservative, I feel like, doing things, like engagement, marriage, then children, you know what I mean? I feel like in that kind of way. So this is where I feel like, a traditional wedding at a church, doing things by tradition, what your ancestors would want you to do, what your parents want you to do in that traditional sense. In the Hindi culture, it's like, they have the bride and the groom on separate things, and they circle jewelry around the bride's head, and they present it to her, and, the groom, I believe they do the same thing, and it's like, I believe it's like a 5-day ceremony. It's just like a constant, love fest of showing, love and support for this new couple. The Hierophant represents a leader of established religion. He is the natural counterpart of the high priestess, but he has but as formal and even political power, providing comfort and security of the wisdom of ages, generosity in others' time of need, and among many ventures of the Hierophant that make him someone to turn to in troubled times. So again, with the, coming from the channeled cards, we were highlighting the King of Cups, and I said that maybe this is your person that you can turn to. So when they're talking about this danger that may be there, or maybe you're feeling insecure because we still are in Mercury retrograde, you could turn to them and, talk about these feelings and purge these feelings. Too great a variance of the past can become hostile towards all change. So they are talking about a change, and I definitely get that with the Ten of Pentacles. So like, like they say, like, when you reach a certain status, it's like, it's like, you think that you don't have the same problems. You don't. Now you have different problems related to where you are in life. You know what I mean? They're saying like, betrayal, like people are trying to come into your circle, from the past, but, they're only there for the hype, for the clout. Become hostile towards all change, and the Hierophant symbolizes an obstacle to growth. He can also indicate marriage or also other lasting unions. And this is where I felt like they were saying like a marriage ceremony, but like a union ceremony. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily like a traditional marriage. Maybe this is like a same-sex couple, and maybe it's not legal where they are, so they have a commitment ceremony. Or it's very ethereal where you're outside. I could see an outdoor wedding, and it's very, Mother Nature, like very, like I would say hippie, like where, daisies around the head, and it's in a garden, and, you're surrounded by your loved ones, and there's butterflies and birds. So it's just very like earthy, where it's not in the traditional sense of an actual church, but they do highlight this, mentality of doing things in a right way, in a right order, so maybe, maybe you end up being pregnant, and they're like, he's like, get engaged, marriage before the child is born. So we get the Four of Swords. So definitely taking place in, we usually see the Four of Swords, and they say a place of healing usually takes in place in like churches. So there is a lot of religious symbols in this as well. So this is where I feel like this is a spiritual evolution of yourself. Maybe something has happened to you and you've turned to, when they talk about conservatism, or they talk about, going back to generations, like, honoring our elders. It looks like how we would raise the baby. They're showing a baby's christening. So it's just like, certain things come into, play here. I feel like these are discussions we should have, and most of the time we don't, about how we raise the children, and, are we going to have them baptized or not? Or like, this is how our parents raised us. This is how your parents raised you, so like, how are we going to raise the children? You know what I mean? So, but I definitely feel like more of that kicks in once children are present. Like, it's like, how are we going to have this structure of the home? Forwards always represent the home, but a time of rest and rejuvenation. We did get that with the Ten of Pentacles, saying like, I feel like it's like, have a rest before we put you on rest. You know what I mean? Being mindful of your energy, learning to when to say no. I feel like that's what they're saying. Like, you can rest on your laurels because you've earned this, because you've worked, but I feel like they're saying like, but also be mindful of your rest time. Be mindful of your downtime. A temporary relief from struggle. Use solid to plan for a way forward, because the changes are that much will be determined of you again soon. So I feel like this influx of money, we were talking about this, I believe yesterday with, Monday's Daily Tarot cards, where we're talking about like, this influx of money, but we know like with myself in the wintertime, I have to pay for snow removal. I know the hydro bill is higher. So I save for that, so that way in the wintertime, I don't feel like that real hard jolt of like, oh my gosh, the hydro bill is so much, especially like around Christmas where the tree is lit and we're using more electricity in the sense of like decorations and lights and whatnot. So it's just like, okay, let's plan for this. So we know when it comes time around, maybe the winter is a little harsher, so there is no more snow removal. You know what I mean? Just planning for that kind of thing. So that way, we don't feel the jolt so harshly. This could also refer to either health or your personal life. Remember, with hindsight, all the best achievements involve triumph over adversary. But I feel like they're saying, I feel like you have this triumph, in my personal opinion of what I'm observing. I feel like you have this personal triumph. I feel like not only professionally, but even personally. I feel like they're saying be wary of who you're picking as your partner, and just don't jump at the first, person that comes. Definitely learn the lessons of that you have learned. Your experience. When we talk about our intuition, from the past, like what do we learn from the past? What were the lessons here? You know what I mean? Definitely when we're in solitude, we learn these lessons. Hindsight is 20/20, so it's just like, well, I'm not going to rush into this. I'm going to give it time to grow. And obviously, like they were saying, and they keep bringing this up, like, these changes don't just affect you, it affects others. So I feel like they're saying, like, be very mindful of that. And I feel like with the Four of Swords, they are talking about tradition and marriage. So I definitely, maybe this is your glow up because of the marriage. Your status changes, like, in a sense where it's like he's got money. And it's like, don't let that be the only thing that motivates you for this marriage, because now you won't have to struggle. You know what I mean? Because this is talking about, Four of Swords with the home. But I definitely feel like, a rest and rejuvenation, because maybe they financially give you that safety and security, and you don't have to work as hard anymore. You don't have to bust your butt. But I feel like it'll change you. You know what I mean? Because if you rest on your laurels where it's just like, well, I don't have to work now because he takes care of everything. But it's just like, well, you've worked so hard to get to this point. Are you going to let it all slip through your fingers? I feel like that's where they're saying, don't let it, don't rest on your laurels. You worked so hard to get to this point, and there's so much more to grow and expand, because the universe is vast. There's so much more to grow. Don't stifle yourself because of this change. So we have the Six of Wands. So it's like you're the victor wearing the wreath. You're riding out on your high horse. This is a card of purity. I definitely feel like if you make the right choices as you move forward, when they're saying be careful on what you're doing, even if you choose not to be with this person because you're like, what? I'm not going to set. Yeah, maybe he is rich, but maybe he's a real knob. Maybe he's really rude to your children. Maybe he doesn't even want kids. You know what I mean? So it's just like, well, these are my kids. Are you going to, Are you, or he, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like he affects the kids in a certain way. You know what I mean? So it's just like, are you, that's going to affect your children for, the rest of their life, because you brought this entity in so you can have the safety and security because you're only thinking about the money aspect of things. So it's just like, think of, play devil's advocate with things. Like, don't play it in such a way that you destroy the relationship, but, definitely take your time. Don't rush into things. Maybe he will jump the gun and, have this big commitment. Move in with me, I'll take care of you guys. But it's just like, maybe your kids aren't on the same page. Mom, you just met him. It's been 5 minutes. Like, slow down. Or dad, parent, you just met this person. Or, you know what I mean? So I definitely feel like, we can move forward, but don't feel like you have to just make this big change, to just because you're afraid on missing out on something. I feel like if it's worth having in your life, it's worth working for. And I definitely feel like giving it the time and the respect it needs to grow into something and to get to know each other. So, there isn't surprises, or it's just like, like spending, weekends together. So it's just in certain situations with like family where it is uncomfortable. Maybe your parents are inappropriate or something like that, and it's seeing how they react in situations, and that'll show you, like, you get to see every single, side of this person before you decide to make such a major commitment. So with the Six of Wands, you benefit from triumph. A well-earned success has careful plans, and hard work bear fruit. Be magnificent in victory, and your moment of glory will be prolonged. This is no time for remembering petty insults and injuries suffered along the way. If you forget them, so will others. They bring that up, and I feel like, sharing those experiences, especially like, when you are helping, people that are coming up in the industry, like, maybe they're young about this and they're like, how do I start about this? I feel drawn to this, like, where do I start? And it's like, that definitely is a part of it. And it's like, those are definitely situations where you're like, what's even the point? If I'm going to listen to, people like this come along where I work so hard and I sacrifice so much, and the work sometimes is tedious, but I still put my 1010% into everything, and there's still someone like that. The world is full of them. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people are just following you just to see you fail. So you sit there, as long as your passion's in it, your heart is in it, that time and dedication, determination, it's like, you will see the fruits of your labors. You will see, like, the seeds that you planted bear fruit, but, ready to harvest. So, keep that in mind. I feel like sharing experiences is very important. I'm just going to be transparent. Like, I know a lot of cards say, like, if you don't mention it, nobody else will remember. But it's like, you also learn from that too. Like, for everyone, there's like, 10 that will praise you. So it's just like, you got to, sometimes we got to take our licks in that way. But also set your boundaries. If it becomes something that's like, constant, block them. Like, stand up for yourself. So we have mirror. I definitely feel like this is, when we got this with the full moon, with the moon card, with Pisces reflector. Mirroring each other, self-image, relationship, reflect our wounds, introspection. I feel like self-image, maybe your insecurities play a key in this. Like, don't let that, your self-image, stand in the fact of love. Maybe you feel like, you're not good enough in that sense, and it's just like, well, they like you, you like them. Why are you going to let that stand in your way? Not enough. So a lot of shadow talk here. Frustrated in a relationship, lack of confidence, self-sabotage. And that's what I was feeling with the mirror card. Fear, ego issues, jealousy. So maybe people are kind of putting these disgusting, vile things in your head, and you start to believe them, and it affects your relationship in a negative way. Going back where they were talking about the danger, of the situation, be cautious. And maybe like where they were saying, like, you're the Queen of Cups, where you're very giving, and this person always puts their insecurities on you, and then, but because you are the Queen of Cups, you absorb that, and you take it and make it your own. And it's like, no, give it back to them. So we have talking. Interest, serving more, awaited message arrives, text, call, email, hovering. So definitely, I feel like, when we start those in a new relationship, it's like, the honeymoon phase where you can't stop talking to each other. So very nice. We have abundance. So positivity for once. Keep a positive mindset. Manifest exactly what you want. Gratitude, bliss. So going back to the very first channel message of manifestation. But I also definitely feel like, a positive mindset, even though we have mirrored the way that we see ourselves, we're not good enough, but I feel like they're saying, like, overcome that, and you will, you can give yourself permission to be in this relationship, and you will gain a lot from it. She's sitting there throwing money in the air. So it's just like, maybe the negative self-talk is on social media, like, when they're saying you're talkative. But I definitely feel like with the talkative, with texts, emails, and whatnot, I feel like it's a relationship. I feel like you guys can't get enough of each other. So they're telling us surrender, so maybe surrender the negative sabotage talk. It's number 9. 9 plus 1 is 10. So, surrendering these negative images that we have of ourselves, surrendering the negative self-talk, putting that to bed, saying like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, there's some things I would change about myself, but a lot of people would change something about themselves. And that's okay. It's like, you're embracing, things that you don't like about yourself. It's like, yeah, I may not like that, but maybe, if you do a dietary change, you can change something. Or like, you don't like your hair color, you can change your hair color. You know what I mean? Like, to make it like, but embrace it. You know what I mean? Maybe there's a birthmark you don't like, but it's just like, what? It is what it is, maybe it's a mole or something you can get removed, but I feel like it's just embracing your imperfections. But you realize when people love you, they're not looking at those things. They're looking at you from we judge ourselves harshly. And being in all the shadow energy, it's like, the ego gets louder. So just being mindful of that and what's going on in the sky. Sometimes, we have, zodiac signs that are combating each other in the sky, and we're like, why am I being so hateful to myself? This card indicates the need to surrender your attachment to a particular situation or preferred outcome, because your inability to let go is impeding your success. Desperation blocks manifestation. Therefore, and see, desperation. And that's where it's like, don't be desperate for a relationship just because, maybe he has a lot of money. But it's like, that's not the key to everything. Money can come and go. Therefore, the more you struggle to attract your desire, the more you push it away. By drawing this card, you're being encouraged to detach from the situation and surrender the outcome to the divine. In order to attract what you want, you must give the universe space to deliver your request, so patience. This can only be achieved by getting out of the way so that everything can unfold as it should. Going with the flow with things. Not like, like with myself, I felt insecurity around the home, a disturbance in the environment. So I'm like, I always hear Judge Judy, if you don't like where you live, move. So I'm like, okay, flee, because I don't like confrontation. And it's like, it keeps happening. So I'm like, why am I, tormenting myself? And I definitely, get up and flee. But it's just, I feel like this is where universe is like, go with the flow for once. Let things fall, let things flow where they go. Don't fight it. And it's like, let's see what happens. So just like as they were just talking about patience, having that patience. So 2, again, Gemini, duality, we're getting a lot of 2s in this. So, I definitely feel like, what's 2 in the tarot? High Priestess. So it's like, having patience. High Priestess does talk about patience. Being in a seated position, finding the balance in the situation. And they're like, follow your intuition. Go within. Kind of like a hermit. Reflection, kind of, going back to the moon. And it's, going within, and maybe there is, a better way to do things. This card indicates a time to stop and enjoy the present moment, as nothing more can be done to achieve the outcome you desire. Rather than take action, you are being asked to evaluate your progress carefully, your dreams, which can help you manifest them sooner. This card also indicates a need to take your time and pace yourself instead of making hasty plans and decisions. Failing to do so can result in the stress and disappointment, and an opportunity to focus all your energy in attachment and visualizing your dreams, as opposed to pushing against the obstacle standing in your way. And I definitely, just what I was talking about, instead of sitting there and, trying to force something to happen, they're like, take a break, take a breath, have a seat, let balance restore, and let's move forward from there. So we have music, I definitely love this. I was telling you guys how, I sat there and I transplanted the plants. And I had the music bumping, and it's like, I haven't let myself to be free in that, like that in a while. And it was so liberating. It's like, I felt like I was just participating, and I felt like for once in my life, I was actually enjoying life. Letting your hair down and just enjoying the moment, singing your favorite songs, transplanting my plants and, giving them more room to grow into the beauty that they are, So it's just like, I was like, wow, that's so beautiful, in that moment. This card indicates a need to listen to music you enjoy in order to improve your health, well-being, and overall quality of life. Playing, singing, composing, or listening to beautiful music that lifts the heart with joy. Lifts your heart with joy. Automatically raises your vibration, enhances your connection to source, because you attract what you feel in this magnetic vibrational world. So with myself, getting ready for my son's birthday, sat there, put music on, started baking his birthday cake, you know what I mean? And it's just like enjoying that moment, sitting there, getting everything ready, putting in the oven, putting music on that I enjoy, in that time of doing the task, making it it's enjoyable, to bake, but it's just like also raising the vibration of it. It's like, yes, I have this task to do, but it's like, putting the music. I do that sometimes doing the dishes. I'll put music on my phone, and I'll sit there and listen to music while I'm doing the dishes, and it makes it go that much more faster. When you constantly feel good, you make your dreams come true. Music is the ultimate way to bring yourself into alignment, because it only takes a few minutes to sing your favorite song in the shower rather than worry about your day and your day. Listen to inspirational music while driving rather than stressing about traffic, or play your favorite CD while doing housework rather than fret about the mess. So taking your mind off of like thinking about the everyday or like the chaos going on, or just like, letting our mind go free. We put on music and it's just like letting our mind have a rest and just concentrate on the task we're doing, and, playing whatever song or music or genre that's in your head, and, being happy in the moment. So definitely giving ourselves permission. Happiness is my birthright. Sometimes we forget that, There's a lot of I love the yellow of it, the beautiful, like the sun, you know what I mean? But I feel like they're saying, give yourself permission to do so. So again, highlighting, the full moon to the waning crescent here. My faith has the power to turn trauma into healing, conflict into growth, and fear into love. So I'm going to look up, so that's the 24th of June. So let's check up the waning crescent. So the 24th to the July 7th again. So that time I feel like, when they're saying like, give yourself permission to be happy, sit there and turn on music and, bump around the house, clean, if it's cleaning your house or gardening or whatever, you know what I mean? Enjoying that music, raising the vibration, letting your soul be free. Joy is the ultimate creator. And I feel like this is definitely giving yourself permission to live your life. So we have the Five of Cups as our next card. So definitely, getting the, happiness is my birthright. I feel like they're saying, instead of concentrating on what we lost, let's concentrate on what we have. Like, joy is the ultimate creator, talking about this trauma here, highlighting, I have, turning trauma into healing, conflict into growth, and fear into love. It's concentrating on what we still have, letting what we've lost run like water under the bridge. In time, it won't affect you as much. Like you will get, it's just like anything in life. The best thing I learned in a survivors group, like a widowers group, was like, like they would say, like, you will feel certain, feelings. It's like an earthquake. And sometimes you're going to have aftershocks. And sometimes, they get further and further out. But sometimes you will get rocked to the core of this grief. But it's learning how to deal with the situation. So the Wonderland deck, the Five of Cups is the Five of Hats. Portal, loss, seeing the broken and ignoring the whole. Friendships without devotion. Marriage without love. that which could be. So we're going to end our new moon forecast with some love cards. So we have empathy, and I definitely feel like especially highlighting the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups, we definitely get a lot of empathy with that. Being Gemini with the duality, so it's not only thinking of ourselves but our partner. When they were talking about making decisions, how it doesn't just affect you, it affects others. You feel understanding the emotions of another in the service of love. So when they're talking about like you are faced with a temptation, so maybe sometimes we feel like the grass may be greener on the other side, and a lot of the times it's like it's only greener where you water it. So if you're putting your love and attention in someone else, your relationship is not going to grow. If you put that energy that you're putting into someone else into your own relationship, you can fix it. So present, you live in the moment and are able to bring forth the energies of love in your current circumstances. So talking about playing music, bringing that, lighting up the vibration in the house, lighting up yourself, giving yourself permission to enjoy that moment, allowing yourself to live, to definitely enjoying the life instead of just participating in it. Our last card is peacefulness. I love that we're ending on this. You recognize the balance, kindness, and love. Bring calm to your soul. So instead of, going on with chaos, adding more chaos to the situation, adding someone else to the situation, it's very much, let's just, dial it back. And, like I said, the grass is only greener where you put your time, energy, and dedication and devotion into. So I hope you guys enjoyed this new moon forecast and projections in Gemini taking place on June 10th. It will be a solar eclipse, and I got the video there showing when the time lapse would be. In what I saw where it was taking place, I feel like it's more of North America seeing it being more visual this time, whereas last time it was like Australia, like the other side of the world that saw most of it. I know, like with the time difference, I know someone that I care about a lot and I look up to a lot. It was showing in California how they were showing it because they are the 4 hour difference. I assumed like the other side of the world, but I guess the time difference does make a difference where, we were already having full sunlight, whereas she was able to get the eclipse, and she taped it all, and it was just so beautiful to see. Because I noticed a lot of the time in the Maritimes we're overcast when it's a full moon, so you don't get to enjoy it in its fullness most of the time. But summertime is here, so hopefully we'll get to enjoy a couple of them. So I hope you guys, enjoy these forecasts and projections. May the universe bless you good. We'll see you for the next daily tarot card. Bye.